Welcome to Music Guru, where rock and metal never die and every classic note still matters. You might think Eddie Van Halen's favorite riff was something he created himself. Unchained, maybe? Ain't talking about love? But according to his son Wolfgang, the riff that made Eddie lose his mind came from someone else entirely, and not just anyone, but the king of heavy riffs. In an article from Anti-Music, Wolfgang Van Halen revealed that his dad's favorite guitar riff of all time was Into the Void by Black Sabbath. Now let that sink in. This is the guy who redefined the electric guitar, whose playing launched an entire generation of shredders, and when he talked about riffs, he bowed down to Tony Iommi. Wolfgang put it simply, that was the riff Dad would always go nuts for. He'd crank it up whenever it came on. This kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because Into the Void is massive, sludgy, hypnotic, and moves like a tank rolling over a cliff. It's simple and ruthless. You can almost hear how it might have shaped Eddie's heavier instincts. But not only that, both Sabbath and Van Halen have a jazzy groove behind their heaviness. So they're not just flash, but feel, and not just speed, but soul. And this is where things get really interesting, because there is a long-standing rumor that Eddie Van Halen actually played on a Black Sabbath track. The song is Evil Eye from their 1995 Cross Purposes album. While Eddie wasn't officially credited, I've done a video on this topic, and there's enough evidence to make it worth arguing about. There's no definitive answer. Most of my viewers believe that it wasn't Eddie. I actually think it was Tony Iommi playing, trying to mimic what Eddie was doing. But this choice of Eddie's for his favorite riff of all time shows you just how close he really was to Iommi, even though on the surface it seems as though they couldn't be farther apart. So Eddie's pick for the greatest riff of all time is Black Sabbath's Into the Void. What's your pick for the greatest or your most favorite riff of all time? If I had to choose just one, I don't think it would be Into the Void, but it just might be a Tony Iommi riff. You'll have to keep track of the upcoming videos and subscribe to the channel to find out which one I ultimately pick. This is what I think, but what really matters is what you think. So if you have an idea about this or any other topic connected to classic or contemporary music, please drop it in the section below, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.
Millions of riffs that I kind of rack my brain trying to think, and obviously I can't mention any of my own, right? Into the Void by Black Sabbath, off of Masters of Reality, Sunshine of Your Love by Cream, a song called Burn by Deep Purple, and one of my all-time favorite AC/DC songs off of an album called Power Edge, called Down Payment Blues.
What makes a good riff?
Just the power, the sheer, it just engulfs you. It's like, you know, you just feel it, you know, it makes you vibrate.
Music Guru here, asking you to help us on our march to 10,000 subscribers.